So every single time I try to incorporate more veggies into my diet, maybe because I think I should, maybe because everybody else thinks I should. I don't know. Maybe it's the variety. I have no idea. But every single time I do it, I go backwards. And that's okay. It's just a reminder that my body actually prefers a more carnivore way of eating. So, what's happened this time that's made me rethink this yet again? And it may be something that you rethink as well when I put it in this light. Okay, so if you're new around here, I'm Kylie. I am 2 weeks out from having a breast lift and side lift, which is why I'm wearing compressions here, which is really hard to kind of cover up. I have had the journey of losing 60 kilos, addressing lipedema. I have thyroid disease, and I am gradually removing the loose skin and having the surgeries to put my body in a place of peace after such a massive weight loss. And for many years before this, before I had weight loss surgery, I was plant based. In fact, most of my life, I preferred veggies. So, and I still do, which is why I keep kind of letting them creep back in. But I discovered through the journey that carnivore actually really suits my body. And I hate having to say this diet, that diet, because the whole point of this video is that you understand that the perfect diet for you is the perfect diet for you, and not necessarily the perfect diet for me, and vice versa. Here's why: when I let plants kind of take over my life again, I know my body's not coping with them. First of all, my nose starts running when I eat them. And this only occurred to me yesterday. I was having a lovely chicken and vegetable soup made from scratch by myself because I know everything that's gone into it and I'm trying to heal, nicely after my surgery. So everything's made from scratch, no seed oils, no inflammatory items, no gluten, that kind of thing. And all that was in it was, let's see, chicken, butternut squash, sweet potato, onion, maybe some broccoli. I can't remember. I've done a few different soups over the last week or so. My nose, it starts running immediately. Now, after you've had weight loss surgery, your nose running is a sign of when you are full. It's one of the signs. You can start hiccuping, you could start burping, coughing, your nose running. They're all signs that your new little tummy is full. But this is happening as soon as I start eating, my nose starts running. And I purposely, with all the soups that I've had this week, in my effort to go, oh, my body probably needs the extra nutrients after the surgery, I have not put any chili in it. So one would say, living in Bangkok in Thailand, that it could be the chili, but no, I removed that from the equation. So I know my nose wasn't running from the chili. And I had a variety of different veggies on each time. So I now get to a point where I know if I eat too many veggies, my nose starts running immediately on eating. And that's kind of what happens for me when I eat cheese. And I know cheese is just doesn't suit my body at all. So this is why keto doesn't work for me. There's a couple fold until my body reacts better to veggies over the time. So I don't believe anything short term can be gauged as the correct, reaction. So you kind of tend to drag things out a little bit more than a week to figure out, oh, is this just a detox of something or whatever? As I've continued along, I'm like, oh no, without fail. And I've tested it because for breakfast I have just eggs like I normally would, no veggies involved. My nose does not run. The minute I have the veggies for lunch and dinner, my nose starts running. Plus, here's the other thing, and here's the biggest component to deciding whether or not a particular way of eating is for you. How do you feel? Do you search for more food straight afterwards? Are you satiated? So for me, eating veggies makes me want to be creative. It makes me want to cook more. I'm an ex-cook. I'm an ex-cake decorator. The more veggies I eat, it's not just about whether or not they affect me physically, it's how they affect me mentally. it makes me want to cook. It makes me want to consume more food than what I actually need. When I eat meat or high meat or animal based or carnivore or however you want to say it, I do not. I feel quite satiated. I don't feel like I need to have more food. I am not sitting at my desk where I should be working and thinking about what's at the next meal or, oh, if we go up to the markets, I could get some coriander so that I could sprinkle it on some avocado. Like I don't think about it. And that's a big thing. So it's all well and good to see all the different people online that all have a different way of eating that's all probably better for us than what we're doing now. But I also look at, can I sustain that? It's great to say that keto might be better for me, and the veggies might be better for me. But if I'm sitting here thinking about food all of the time, and my weight has not changed, like eating the extra veggies, nothing's changed to make me go, oh, see, my body prefers that. All that's happening is that I'm really hungry all the time and I'm thinking about food all the time. I'm thinking about what I could potentially whip up at the next meal. Like, it's never ending. And that really, really bothers me that I just keep thinking about it. And I'm not thinking about it from a hunger perspective. And I know a lot of people get food noise and the food noise is like, I need to eat, I need to eat. Maybe it is food noise. Maybe it is food noise in the respective that I don't stop thinking about food, right? It doesn't actually make me get up and go get food, but I'm planning the next meal. Whereas when I eat carnivore, I'm just not even thinking about it. And to me, that is better for me that I'm not constantly thinking about food and what can I cook, because then inevitably I'm always thinking about, oh, but if I eat that, how's it going to affect my lipedema? If I eat that, how's it going to affect the thyroid? Oh, if I eat that, am I going to put on weight? If I eat that, is it going to change my weight loss surgery? Like, I just don't think that way with carnivore. It's just off the table because I just don't even think about food. And there's a lot to be said for that. Okay, so next time you're thinking about and you're watching all these different diets and all these different, and there's nothing wrong with any of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not canning any of them. There's a right way and a wrong way for each of us to eat individually for ourselves. And we start with the science of, potentially what lipedema experts are saying at the moment. And it's Lipedema Awareness Month, and there's a Lipedema Summit on right now. So there's lots of things that are telling us this is what we know from science. But then you've got to add in, how does it affect you personally? Because the science doesn't take into account the way you think, the way you breathe, the environment you live in, the bacteria around you every day. Completely different to the next person, right? So, and the people that they've done the studies on. So that's got to be taken into account. But then there's this other layer. How do you cope emotionally when you eat the way somebody says that you've got to eat? Can you sustain that long term? Because if you can't sustain that long term, you're just going to bring cortisol and stress into your body, which will affect the lipedema anyway in an adverse way. So that's the layer that I like to dabble in. I've done all this stuff, I studied to be a naturopath and a clinical nutritionist and all the things. I've done all that sort of stuff. But I like to play in the emotions field because that's the part we don't think about. And instead, we're blaming ourselves for having lack of willpower and I just can't stick to it and all this sort of thing. And it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with how our emotions cope with that food. And it may not necessarily be a negative thing. It can be a positive connotation. It can be a positive connection that you have with that food that you won't give it up. I've spoken about this many times. If you have a memory with your grandmother, which I do, of sitting at her kitchen table eating white bread sandwiches. Actually, she made it on toast. So white toast, margarine, it would have been in the day, I would say, and thin slices of tomato with salt and pepper and a cup of strong tea. That was my memory with my grandma, was sitting eating that at a table with her. And there were some of my favorite memories. So if ever I find myself thinking, oh, it'd be really nice to have tomato on toast and a cup of tea, I know it's because I want to feel a connection with my grandma. But most people don't stop and think, oh, why am I craving that particular food item? Why am I, craving that particular style of eating? And it's usually because we're connecting it to somebody else and we don't feel that connection and we want to. And this is the layer that like overrides everything else that we do. So what do you do about it? That's the tricky bit, right? So all you can do about it is be aware of yourself, right? I always say your purpose is you. Your purpose is to find out all about you. Like you're your first girlfriend or boyfriend, and you're like, I want to know more about you. How do you think? How do you feel? What lights you up? What makes you sad? What makes you excited? How do you tick? We never stop to think about how we tick for ourselves. And it's in doing that that I've figured out for myself that sticking to carnivore type, and I say stick to because I'm a human, right? Any human tells you that they're like spot on perfect 100% of the time in endlessly for their lives. I'm going to say no, they're not. They might be people out there. Are they happy? Would be my next question. Are they truly happy? For the most of us, to be happy, we're not going to stick to something rigid for the rest of our lives. We are going to stray. But what is the natural thing for you to come back to that makes you feel good most of the time? And for me, it is carnivore. It is just sticking to meat. It's the thing I come back to that's easy. It's a no brainer. I don't find myself thinking about food for the next meal. It just removes a lot of emotional clutter for me eating that way. Now, while I'm not 100% carnivore, there's a very real reason I tell myself, right? Because whenever you say something about yourself, you're telling yourself. I might be telling whoever you are listening to this that I'm carnivore, but in essence, I'm telling myself I'm carnivore. And if I tell myself I'm carnivore, then I will only have something that's not meat, you know, every now and again, like here and there, maybe once a day. And I've always said, if you tell yourself you can't have something every day, you'll only have it like once a day. If you tell yourself you can't have something for a week, you'll have it maybe once a week, right? We do this thing in our brain where we go, oh, no, that's okay. That's where the line is, of like, we can't, but there's always a but as a human being. So you've got to speak in a way for yourself for how you feel that that's a happy medium for you. Just kind of mostly stick to that way of eating. It doesn't matter what other people think or see or feel about it. It's none of their business, right? It's nobody else's business. And if they can't eat carnivore all day, have chocolate at night, and still keep things normal, that's okay. Like if I can do that, great. It's about how I feel. So for me, I yet again have gone back to the veggies, like pretty not full bore, but as I said, eggs for breakfast, and I've been having like meat and vegetable type soups that I've made myself for the last week and a half or so since surgery, and it's just not working for me because I just want to keep making more foods, and my brain keeps going to, oh, what else can I make now? What else can I do? And yeah, I don't want to live like that when it comes to food. I want to be able to just go out, leave my desk, have my meal, and forget about the food until the next meal comes around. And that's just me. That's how I like to be at peace with how I eat and what my food choices are. And if eating that way keeps my inflammation low and keeps me feeling good in all other areas of my life, then that's what I'm going to stick to in the meantime. If I get to a point where there's something from a disease perspective or a mental health perspective that tells me, oh no, you need to change that, then I will. Right? You can't be dogmatic with your own diet. You cannot have other people in your head going, no, you've got lipedema, therefore you must eat this way. No, how are you feeling here? How's your body holding up? And how well do you know you? How well do you know whether or not you can stick to just having plants or just having meat? You might be vegan and you might really struggle to eat meat. Great. Work with that. If that's for moral reasons and religious reasons, well, then nothing anybody says about the science of eating meat is going to change the fact that you're not going to like eating meat. Just won't. And that's okay. So you have to find a way of eating for you that still does not grow your lipedema and that helps you to feel less pain and less inflammation, and that also aligns with your beliefs. And that's okay. So I just wanted to stop in and say that because it's been a big eye opener for me. And every time I do it all the time, right? We all do it. It's like the dieting thing. And there's probably from a lifetime leftover of dieting is that I think this way. Because, as soon as surgery happened, I'm like, oh, I better, make sure my digestion's under control and I better add in the veggies and all these things, only to discover, no, I was actually probably eating the way my body prefers right from the get go. So I encourage you to sit down and think about how you react to different things emotionally and mentally, not just physically. I actually have a workbook that I give to clients. I can make a shortened version of that to help you get to know you, but you've got to tell me if you want it or not, because I'm not going to go to the effort of changing that workbook if you're not going to do it, use it, and help yourself with it. So let me know if that's of interest to you in the comments, and I will get myself into gear. In the meantime, I'm recovering really well. I've got my compressions on. So this is the compressions that I had from my arms in Australia, and it's actually much more. You can still see bruises on me from the hospital. These are the compressions I had from Australia from having my arms done, because these are more comfortable than the short sleeve ones that they give you here in Bangkok. Only because I didn't have augmentation. I just had a breast lift. I did not have fillers, and so the compressions they have an extra strap for the implants, and so this is just more comfortable for me. But you can't hide it. There's no hiding it, and I do wear the short ones when we go out for a walk because it's just too hot. But at home in the nice air conditioning, we're doing this, and this will be 3 months. Okay, so but otherwise, I'm healing really well. I'm taking zinc to help with the wound healing and all of that kind of thing. And pretty much as soon as my veggies are finished, I'm not going to waste any of the veggies because I don't do that. I will be heading straight back into carnivore, straight back into the way that I know my body responds best and probably heals best at this point in time. And I'm just going to have to wait it out and wait for the recovery process to do its thing. That's where I'm at. I hope you're well, and I'll see you on the next one.